Food insecurity is not about food. It's about having the resources to live. There are many, many, many people in each and every community across this country that don't have access to food on a regular basis. Can't go to the grocery store and buy what they need when they need it. And I think that's, for me, the ultimate definition is, do you have the resources to acquire food the same way each and every one of us do?
You know, I work 3 jobs to support my family. I work very hard. Yes, I do receive food stamps, but that does not cover all of my food cost. It's a lot more than sometimes it meets the eye.
The statistics are that we produce enough now to feed everyone in the world, and then some.
Half the people we help at the food bank work. And people that were working, playing by all the rules, shouldn't have to use a food pantry, food bank system to get food. But yet that's what's going on in America for millions of Americans. Healthy food across the country is the most expensive food we buy. And therefore people don't have the choice of eating healthy if they're on a very limited budget, and the last thing in their budget's go spend the money on food.
It is $12 to feed them through McDonald's, but if I go to the grocery store, it's going to be $30. So there are times that I do feed them things that I know are not well for them, but sometimes it's cheaper and I need to feed them.
If we want to take on food insecurity and end it as opposed to relieve it, then we have to work with partners in the community to ultimately find ladders out of poverty towards self-sufficiency. And the only way to do that is to make sure that people have opportunity to work and then get paid at a level in which they can support themselves.
So a food desert is a place, a geographical space where people in a neighborhood do not have access to healthy fruits and vegetables.
So whether you're in an urban setting or a rural setting, there are counties that do not have a grocery store.
We've got TV dinners, chicken nuggets, a lot of boxed and processed foods available. And if you cannot get out of this area to go grocery shopping, those are your only options.
We don't think about the cost of driving to the grocery store in our world. But for a person on a fixed income, gasoline is a big issue.
You would think that in this rural area, you would see a lot of small farms and some farmers that would have little stands on the side of the road, and you just don't. If people in this town had the fresh produce and fresh meat available in town at an affordable price, it would help a lot of people.
We're hung up on cosmetics in the food system, and this is particularly for fresh food. And think about the way you'd go to the supermarket and choose which apple to buy. If there's one that's blemished and one that looks perfect, no blemishes, which one are you going to choose? Well, you scale that up across the entire food system, and it leads to about 40% of the food that we produce being wasted.
There's nothing wrong with this product. It's good food, and there's so much of this available. We haven't figured out how to create a market for people to buy it. And you can buy that at a less price point, and therefore you might be able to eat healthier.
When people are eating really bad food, because that's all that's available to them, and what I mean by bad food is food that has no nutritional value, where they're drinking only sodas, where they're eating food that's got a high content of sugar, no protein, no fiber, no fresh fruits and vegetables, those kinds of things. The toll that it takes on them is that it makes them sluggish, it makes them unable to work, all kinds of diseases, hypertension, diabetes.
If you think about the calories that are inexpensive, they're the kind of things that promote obesity, type 2 diabetes, health issues that are diet related, not necessarily a quantity, but certainly a quality issue.
In the case of food, you can compromise. You can shortchange yourself and your body. And so one always has to see food insecurity against the context of the human being who is in that circumstance where they're making those kinds of terrible choices between electricity, transportation, healthcare, pills, medication, and food. The great enemy of trying to end hunger is apathy and ignorance. And the way that apathy plays out is that people listen to this and they say it's terrible, and then they don't do anything about it. And ignorance is that they have all these myths about who the people are who are facing hunger in America, facing food insecurity in America.
To me, if we're really going to solve this problem, it's going to be because we break down the gaps. We've got a huge income gap, so that's the wage issue. We've got a huge disconnect in how we live and socialize and gather. We don't see people, the way we used to see people. We've segregated schools in a lot of ways. We've got communities that are segregated by price point of housing. We've got to break down those barriers.
We don't have a shortage of food in America. That's not our problem. We have a shortage of political will. We have a shortage of psychological will. We can get our arms around those things, and if we do, we can solve this problem together.